There is a moment when the pursuit of connection quietly settles. The apps are deleted. The hope that a relationship will fill a specific emptiness begins to feel less urgent. You notice that you have simply stopped reaching. For some, this is a healthy maturation. For others, it is the stillness of a self that has learned, through enough painful experience, that the cost of trying exceeds the probability of success. We have to distinguish between a profound healing and a sophisticated form of hiding. To make that distinction, we use a framework called the Relational Recalibration Audit. It is designed to map the current state of your attachment system and identify the specific patterns that lead to exhaustion. To begin this mapping, grab a piece of paper and a pen. Taking an inventory of this stillness allows us to see the difference between a nervous system that has permanently shut down and one that is finally becoming available. First, draw a line down the middle of your paper. Use the labels suppression on the left and security on the right. Suppression presents as a brittle piece. You feel fine while alone, but the mere approach of intimacy triggers an immediate internal alarm. It is a deactivated state, not a resolved one. Security, specifically the earned security described in developmental research, is the capacity to want connection without being destabilized by its absence. You can be alone without triggering the alarm system. To diagnose which state you are in, look for this specific pattern, a baseline that appears calm until a relational uncertainty causes it to spike. This is the body's threat detection center treating ambiguity as a genuine danger. Notice your physical markers. Look for chronic muscle tension in the chest or stomach, or a heart rate quickening at the thought of being seen in your actual, undefended state. A genuine sense of peace is measured by the nervous system's capacity to remain regulated, even when the possibility of vulnerability is present. In the next section of your audit, list the behaviors you have used in the past to force a specific outcome. This includes things like monitoring a partner's emotional availability or seeking constant, urgent reassurance. These behaviors are the nervous system's attempt to manage an unpredictable environment. They establish control over a threat rather than fostering connection. Real relational safety requires a different orientation entirely. Safety is the capacity to tolerate not knowing. It is the willingness to sit in the uncertainty of a relationship without preemptively withdrawing or demanding a guarantee of the outcome. When we try to control a relationship to avoid being hurt, we effectively block the very vulnerability that makes genuine connection possible. Now, identify the specific wound you have been trying to address through romantic love. For many who chase with an anxious intensity, they are seeking to solve a fear of abandonment that was installed long ago. This drive to attach is biological. Our nervous system first learned about safety through the attunement of our primary caregivers, an experience that forms the template for every relationship that follows. When that early environment is unpredictable or clinical, it creates a foundational threat detection problem. The brain is taught, before it even has words, that the world of other people cannot be trusted to provide what is needed. Fixing early wounds through romance is like furnishing a house with a broken foundation. Beautiful furniture cannot stabilize it. Evaluate the need for targeted repair. Therapy is often required to address foundational cracks that romance was never meant to heal. Establishing internal self-reliance is a prerequisite for a healthy return to love. The foundation must be secure before we can safely invite another person inside. To begin rebuilding trust, list 3 avenues for human connection that are strictly non-romantic. These might be creative partnerships, deep friendships, or professional collaborations. A damaged attachment system needs concrete physical evidence that people can be reliable. It needs new data that contradicts the old internal model. This week, engage in one small act of genuine vulnerability within one of these non-romantic spaces. By surviving the ordinary imperfections and conflicts of platonic life, your nervous system begins to recalibrate its risk assessment. You are gathering the evidence needed to believe that reaching can be safe. This sideways re-engagement allows you to build a history of reliable connection while bypassing the alarm systems often triggered by the romantic chase. Review the map you've created through this audit. You now have the clarity to distinguish a defensive retreat from a genuine peace, and a plan to begin gathering the relational evidence you've been missing. This period of stopping was a necessary repair, a rest for a nervous system that was simply spent from years of anxious pursuit. By stepping out of the chase, you have begun to build the internal security required to be genuinely available when love arrives.